Welcome to University Centre Peterborough Job Search module. Within this module, we're going to look at how you can effectively and efficiently search for roles. This will include preparing a schedule, reviewing different job boards and sites, creating an elevator pitch, through to managing the motivation and protecting yourself. We know that job searching can feel overwhelming, but there are a few steps that you can take to reduce the stress. According to UCAS, 2/3 of employers want to see sector-relevant experience. So if you're currently studying, you should consider how you can develop sector-specific experience through a combination of part-time work, volunteering, temporary work, seasonal roles such as summer internships, freelance or self-employment, and work experience. Job seeking, though, can seem frustrating, and there's no easy solution to guarantee success. There are several strategies you can put in place, though, that will help facilitate your journey. The first is to identify a schedule that will help you prepare for your job seeking. Within this schedule, some of the following lists can be included to help you develop your career plan. The first thing you need to do is really get to know yourself. Know what your strengths and weaknesses are, your skills and preferences. The workplace skills module will help with this. You also want to know what you want from a job, and you can have a look at the career possibilities module. Ensure your CV and LinkedIn profile are up to date and embed keywords and demonstrate impact. You can see the LinkedIn and the CV modules for this. You'll want to create ways to organise your job searching, whether you use Notes, Word or Excel. And you want to include when you sent your CVs in, what research you've conducted, when you've actually applied for roles, to whom you've applied, when you're expecting an answer, and the follow-up date that you went through and contacted the company. You also want to identify now who can provide you with references and ask them if that's okay. And linked to this, you may want to consider who can provide you LinkedIn recommendations and endorsements. You want to start exploring recruitment sites and sign up for alerts. And this way you have time to review the alerts and ensure they're right for you. Check your answer phone message and change your email address if appropriate to a professional message and a professional name. On LinkedIn, you can start to follow specific companies and professional organisations. You want to develop your network, so you can see the networking module to help with this. And you'll also want to identify which career fairs, open days, events and conferences that you want to look at. There are different ways that you can do job searches, and one of them is through the internet. If you're doing an internet search, you can apply the Boolean operators. This will ensure that your search is specific and relevant. So for example, if you wanted to look for an accounting job, consider where you want to work and what experience you have. Your search could look like accounting job, Peterborough, no experience. There may be a specific phrase that you're after, and you can put that into quotation marks, such as graduate trainee, and the city that you're interested in. By using a minus sign, you can remove certain words from your search, such as minus London would exclude London. And finally, there are specific sector searches that you can do, such as for education. Generally, the email address will end in ac.uk, as with the website. The government ends in .gov.uk. Job boards or job sites enable companies and recruitment agencies to list their vacancies and for job seekers to find roles to match their needs. Now, we would suggest you register with a number of sites, at least one aggregate site, a generalist site and a few specialist sites. Now, depending upon the role, some employers will only recruit through specialist sites to increase the chances of them matching the role to the individual and reducing the possibility of time wasting. An aggregate site looks at multiple sites in one go. And these will include the likes of Prospects, Indeed, Workhound, Simply Hired, CareerJet and LinkedIn. The downside here, though, is that you'll see duplication, but the upside is that hopefully you won't miss anything. There are then big generalist sites that have thousands of jobs across all sectors, such as Reed, Monster, Total Jobs and JobSite. And then there are your specialist sites, which focus on a certain sector or a function. Examples of these are technojobs.co.uk, Retail Week Jobs, Jobs Go Public, Sales Jobs, and charityjobs.co.uk. There are separate PDFs that will help you look through different types of websites to suit your needs at the current time. You'll also want to consider looking at the job alerts. By using the advanced search options in the job alerts, you can set your criteria. Now, if you do that now, you can actually check that you're getting the right type of roles sent to you, rather than getting the hundreds that are too general. And if the jobs being emailed to you aren't suitable, you've now got time to reset your parameters. Don't just ignore the emails though. Many websites will allow you to post your CV, and there's just a couple of rules to bear in mind with this. Your CV should be tailored for that type of job board or site that you're uploading to. You'll want to ensure that your CV has been written at graduate level and demonstrates impact. You want to identify the type of roles that generally are being advertised on that selected job board. And keep a note of the dates that you upload a CV to and which site this has been to. Keep a note also of how often you are reposting. You want to repost every few weeks. And this is to highlight that you're still actively looking, and it will prevent people wondering why you might still be job hunting after a potentially long period of time. Ensure your CV embeds the key words. So look at job descriptions and advertisements of similar roles to the ones you wish to apply for. And ensure that also that your CV highlights how you meet these requirements. Another way of engaging with the job-seeking market is to approach recruiters. Now, the recruiters we've worked for provide this advice, which will really help. Firstly, you want to identify which recruiters you want to work with. And there's a couple of websites that you can do this with. One of them is OnRec and the other one is Free Index. Both of them will allow you to find the niche recruiters within your sector area. So you then target your sector specific area at the right level, so you're telling them that you're looking for undergraduate or graduate roles. You want to be proactive and call them, don't just email, and this will help you stand out. Be honest, clear, precise and accurate about the skills and your wants. Quite often the recruitment agencies can also provide you with additional support with developing skills if there's an area that you need to improve. Ensure that your email address and phone number are appropriate and to you. Many recruiters say that they're often asked to call somebody else, and this puts an extra barrier in the way for trying to get hold of you and placing you in the right place. Have your CV ready. Have already checked out your social media about you. The quickest way of doing this is go onto Google and type your name in. Follow up every conversation you have with an email. And at the bottom of the email, include your contact details again. This just prevents them having to go and find them. And if and when you've got your employment, go back to the recruiter and tell them that you've now been employed. This will stop them having to keep looking for work for you, but also it means that if you need to go back to them at a later date, you can do. Cold calling is an unscheduled call with the aim of achieving a goal, such as selling a product or asking for a job. It can be very unnerving, intimidating, and frequently will result in rejection, but do not take this personally. There's just a few ideas that will help you here. Identify which companies are expanding, relocating, or developing a new product or service. Find out the name of the department manager you want to talk to. Also identify what their contact details are. Send your CV and your cover letter in ahead of time and explain to them that you'll be calling to explore opportunities. When you talk to them by phone, ask if it's a convenient time to talk, and if it isn't, ask them when you could call back. You want to be able to speak intelligently about the company and the industry news, so make sure you've done your research before ringing. Now, whilst you shouldn't read from a script when you call, writing a script will help you get your thoughts together, and it'll also give you something to refer back to. You're going to learn from each encounter and improve your script and continue to make a positive impression on every hiring manager you contact. And no matter what the outcome, you'll send a thank you email. If you're unsure what to write, have a look at the cover letter module for your email. Now, there are certain times to avoid. Generally, it's recommended that you contact businesses mid-afternoon and during the midweek slots, because these will offer you a higher chance of your email being read or the phone being answered. Avoid Monday mornings, Friday afternoons, and lunchtimes. Sometimes it really is who you know and not what you know. The wider your network and the more often you use it, the better it works. Talk to friends, relatives, or people you meet, as they may know jobs that are available that aren't currently yet being advertised. Maintain contact with your ex-colleagues, including the students that you've met here, and meet with them as well as recruiters and past employers. Your networks need to be maintained regularly, even when you're employed, to get them to work most effectively for you. So you want to fill your diary with career events, networking events, and conferences to allow you to network. You also want to consider joining networking groups, and you'll find in the CV and the PDF there are a variety of websites that you can access. You'll find in Canvas and PDF a variety of websites you can access. You'll also potentially want to consider approaching your Chamber of Commerce or Federation of Small Business or personal networking groups for a one-off visit. Now, generally there's a fee, but you may be able to negotiate with them a one-off free to attend, highlighting that you're a local student and you'd like to network. When you do attend these networking events, you will need to prepare. They're a great way to explore opportunities such as work experience, internships, and graduate opportunities. You want to speak to the recruitment agencies or the employers to gain a valuable insight into the industry and identify potential opportunities for you. The first thing to do is work out who is going to be there, and you're going to research these employers. Follow them on LinkedIn. Have your CV printed with a few different versions depending upon who you're talking to. Ensure your LinkedIn profile is up to date and matches your CV. You might even want to consider having some business cards. Develop your elevator pitch, and we'll look at that shortly. Dress in the appropriate business attire to demonstrate that you are ready. Now, networking is tough, but consider having a few questions to hand will make life an awful lot easier, such as, what direction is your company going in over the next few years, or what changes have you recently seen in the sector? Also consider what questions you might be asked and how you'd want to answer them. You want to be approachable, polite, and professional. Exchange contact details and connect with that individual on LinkedIn. And follow up on any good leads, thanking them for their time, highlighting what you were discussing, outlining your objectives, and providing them with your CV. An elevator pitch is quite simply the way you alert your network as to your career intentions. Imagine you're in a lift or an elevator with the manager of a company you want to work for. Can you create a powerful first impression in 60 seconds? You want to explore who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for. You want to ensure that your vision is clear and concise to whoever you're speaking to. Now, when preparing these, you want to consider where you'll be. Are you going to be at a careers fair, an employer presentation? Are you on Twitter or Facebook? Are you making an email or preparing for an interview? You want to consider who you are, what motivates you and what skills you have. What you want, whether it's work experience, a mentor, an internship, a graduate role, a placement, or simply gain advice. Consider who you're speaking to. Is it a recruiter, a CEO or manager, a colleague, an academic? Because the tone will change each time. And then look at what you have to offer. What is your unique selling point? What is your proposition? What can you bring? Why should they give you their time? And in the PDF and the Canvas site, you'll find that there's a little template that will start you off with writing what your elevator pitch needs to contend with. Gaining experience to open doors can sometimes be difficult, so consider how you use your social media and exploring unpaid or paid or even temporary work. This should be able to build your CV and help you acquire new skills, evidence of passion for the sector, develop networking opportunities, provide additional references, and also help you identify roles that you may wish to explore further. Volunteering can be for a very short period of time. It's worth approaching the employer directly. That way you're highlighting that you're dynamic and willing to engage. It also shows that you can go the extra mile. You want to consider also what benefit from a company could gain from your skills. For example, if you're studying media or marketing or accounting, what support could you offer a very small local business or a local school or charity? Could you mentor a student? Could you also help a company arrange an employee event or a charity event? Could you simply volunteer in a company for a couple of weeks? The other thing to consider is temporary roles, and sometimes it's much easier to find temporary roles than full-time or part-time work. Use social media, including LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great way of identifying additional opportunities. And finally, you might want to consider a referral. Many companies offer a financial reward to their own staff who provide a referral or an introduction. So you can reach out to your contacts, your family, friends, mentors, people on LinkedIn, and highlight your skills so that they've got a better understanding of what your professional qualities are, and then they'll know if any roles come up that they can contact you. Sadly, there's an increasing number of job scams being seen. They generally lead to identity theft or financial theft. So be mindful of the following: being asked for money for a CV, background checks or training programs, being asked for personal information during the application process, such as a driving licence, date of birth or passport number, or being asked to call a premium number for information or a phone interview. There are a couple of things to look out for. If the job seems too good to be true, such as excessive pay or minimal expectations, it possibly is. Vague job descriptions and requirements, poorly written job adverts or emails, missing contact information, or they contact you about a role that you've not applied for. If you're offered a role without an interview, this is another area that you might want to consider could be a potential scam. When you're looking at the email address, also check out to see if it's a personal email address or in a standard company format. Be mindful though that some small businesses such as freelancers may have personal email addresses. Do your checks. You can look on the company website to make sure they're a real company. You can also search for them at Company House. Small companies though may not have a website. You can also search the company name followed by scam just to see if they get highlighted. And there are websites in the PDF and on the Canvas page that will highlight what you can do if you think you've stumbled across a fake company. Rejection can make job hunting feel like a real struggle. But remember to sustain belief in that you will gain employment, even if you just have to be a little flexible in your search criteria. You are more than this career. You can learn persistence and the motivational skills, and the more opportunities you engage with, the more experience you gain, and the greater your network is, the greater chance you've got of gaining the role you want to. Chat about the problems. A problem shared really is a problem halved. Share your woes with a trusted friend or family member or a member of the University Centre Peterborough. An open mind is crucial, and sometimes just a different perspective is just what's needed. If you have a disability, it is your choice when you tell the employer. You do not have to tell the employer at any point. However, if you would like the employer to make reasonable adjustments, which is a change to remove or reduce the effect within the workplace upon you, which could be how things are done or extra support you might require, then you do need to disclose this to the employer. It's your choice when this happens. Bear in mind though, once the disclosure is made, it should be kept confidential by the employer unless you say that you are happy for the information to be shared. So you can notify the employer at the beginning, either through a cover letter or an application. You can tell them at interview, or you can tell them once you've got the role. There's a PDF link in the Canvas page and a PDF link provided which will include additional information for support, funding and employment for anybody with a disability. If you're using your your cover letter to explain any gaps in your employment or education history, remember to emphasise the positives. You've got additional strengths and skills because of your disability. This is your unique selling point. You've developed resilience, etc. There have been a number of headlines in graduate recruitment recently that have centred upon the employability gap between Black, Asian and minority ethnic groups, or BAME, and white groups. Recently, the Trades Union Congress found that BAME workers with qualifications from GCSEs up to PhDs still had a tougher time in the job market. Now, most UK graduate employers promote equal opportunities and diversity through their recruitment and selection process and in the workplace. They recognise that employees from different backgrounds bring a unique knowledge, skills and experience to their businesses. In addition, there are laws to protect people from discrimination in the workplace and in wider society. University Centre Peterborough has a very diverse student population contributing to our rich learning environment, and the Employer Hub is here to support all learners. You'll find that there's an additional PDF link and some links through Canvas where there are more resources available for support, funding and workplace opportunities specifically for the BAME community. We've now had a look at how you can effectively and efficiently job search. There is another module that links to this which covers job searching through LinkedIn. If you're a student, staff member or alumni of University Centre Peterborough and would like additional support or help, please contact employerhub@peterborough.ac.uk.